Welcome everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good anything and everything to you from wherever you're joining from. My name is Olajumoke Toriola, all the way from the beautiful country, the most beautiful and complex country in the continent, Nigeria. I'm calling all the way from Lagos, and then I'm super excited to be here. And then I just want to, my topic today is new meeting experience updates with Microsoft Teams. I'm actually the CTO for Asham Limited. I'm a Microsoft MVP and on the Office Apps and Services category. I'm also an MCT. I want this session as much as possible to be very, very interactive, and then I'm going to try as much as possible to make that happen. Thank you everyone for joining from wherever you're joining from. I mean, taking out time from your busy schedule to join us is a lot. I mean, all the way from Chicago. This is M365 Chicago, and then we're all glad to be here. I'm super glad, and I'm welcoming every one of you once again. Now, to run through what we're going to be talking about today, I just want to put a face to my name first, and then maybe after that, I turn off my camera. One of the things that I do in the community, my community presence, I'm a co-founder of Textile, a community focused on supporting women who desire growth in technology. One of our mission is to empower women already in tech, and also to get more ladies into technology through mentorship, through training, and all of that. I'm also very active in the community, the MCT Nigeria Tech User Group community. Also, I'm one of the co-founders of MCT Nigeria M365 User Group. That's my LinkedIn profile over there. I'm the only one. You can only find one Olajumoke Toriola on LinkedIn. So get in touch with me. And one of the cool things that has happened yesterday in Nigeria, can you still see my slide? Hello? Can you see my slide?
Yeah, they're back.
All right. Okay, great. All right. All right, so let me just turn off my camera. I guess everyone has put a face to my name now. All right, so the cool thing that has happened in Nigeria yesterday is at least the Twitter ban has been lifted, so you can actually get in touch with me now. You can reach me on my Twitter and my YouTube. Again, if you want to know more about driving adoption for your organization, please check out my blog on speaking Microsoft Teams in the language of your employee is on the tech community. Please, you can look through and then get familiar with it. So to jump right into the session, that's just a little bit about me. So let's jump right in. Please, one of the things we want you to do for us in this session is to please join the M365 Chicago in supporting the Chicago Public School. The initiative is actually to promote equity in education. So please try as much as possible to support the Children First Fund for M365, through the Chicago Public School, through this initiative that the M365 is actually. So you have that QR code for you to scan on the screen. If you want to support, it will be very, very appreciated. Now, going forward, we have lots of raffles to give away. Please, it's very, very important. We have lots of raffles to give away for this session, for all of the session. Join the community, participate in asking questions, and make sure that you fill the evaluation that you need to fill so that you can stand the chances of winning any of these prizes and giveaway, which is very important. Again, I want to say a big thank you to our sponsors. So I guess I mixed that. Again, I want to say a big thank you to Mark Toffer for a lot of the things that, a lot of his video clips is what I'm going to be using here, because the time was too choking for me to quickly make some video clips. I actually wanted to say a big thank you to a lot of our sponsors. I don't know how I missed out that. I think I can get that before the end of this session. So thank you so much. And then so let's jump right into it. Now, a lot of the times I like to start my session by just giving us a little brief introduction of what Microsoft Teams is. I know a lot of people will tell me, yes, I mean, they know Microsoft Teams, but how well do you really know Microsoft Teams really? So I'll just start by starting the session to tell us what Microsoft Teams is. So Microsoft Teams is the hub for team collaboration in the Microsoft 365 ecosystem. And then it integrates the people, the content, and the tools your teams need to be more engaged and productive. So in a nutshell, one can say Microsoft Teams is your productivity platform from meeting to chat and collaboration. So meeting first and foremost, Teams enables rich online meeting experience. You can reduce email clutters by chatting with one or more colleagues with a rich messaging experience in Teams chat. And you can seamlessly collaborate with team members on shared documents. And these are actually backed up by SharePoint with the ability for you to do what? To co-author directly in those documents without leaving the Microsoft Team app interface. Lastly, what Microsoft Teams will allow you to do, Teams replaces the need for a desk phone, allowing you to make and receive audio or video calls from anywhere. And this is actually supported, with voicemail, including voicemail transcription for your convenience. So in a nutshell, that is what Teams is. And then so, while I talk about things, I want to get, my topic is new meeting updates features that you have in Microsoft Teams. I know a lot of us, because of the pandemic, we do more of Teams meeting nowadays. We find a lot of, there is an accelerated usage, so to say, of what people do with Teams this day. So, and then a lot of people, because of the hybrid mode in which we work, we have to juggle between a lot of meeting, and then Microsoft Teams happens to be what we can use for that. Now, let's see what are the cool features that have come into Microsoft Teams meeting, which you can leverage to have a more collaborative experience. So one of it is you can engage your audience with the presenter mode. Now with the presenter mode, you can become a more engaging and integral part of your presentation. Your meeting participants, we all know that when you have meeting participants, they tend to be more focused and have a better experience when they see a presenter along with the presentation. Now what happens is that an interactive presenter can also guide an audience along with the visual cues while reducing the information overload. Now, one of the cool things that has come into Microsoft Teams is the presenter mode. This presenter mode will be able to allow you as a presenter to customize how you want to show your content for meeting participants, including overlaying your video on content or rather, if you want to use any of the options like the standout mode, just like what I pointed out here. You can use any of the standout mode and any, standout or side by side or reporter in the Microsoft Team. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to share a clip real quick and see how that works with the presenter mode. So I said that I normally like to start my session, even when I'm talking about Microsoft Teams, I always like to give an overview or a background of what Microsoft Teams is. And then I do this most of the time, not taking into consideration that a lot of people did a form of transitioning from Zoom, from Google Meet and all of that. So I might have a bit of new and existing audience that are familiar with Teams. So I just decided to start all to say what Microsoft Teams. So to give a little bit of background, Microsoft Teams is the hub for Teams collaboration in Microsoft 365. And what it allows you to do is that it integrates with the people, the content, and the tools your team needs to be more engaged and productive. So in a nutshell, you can say Microsoft Teams is your productivity platform from meetings to chats and collaboration. So what I'm going to do right now is that first and foremost, Teams enables rich online meeting experience. And also you can reduce your email clutters by chatting with one or more colleagues with a rich messaging experience in Teams chat. You can seamlessly collaborate with Teams member on shared document, which is actually backed up by SharePoint. And you have the ability for you to co-author directly in those documents without leaving the interface of Microsoft Teams. Lastly, with Teams, Teams can replace the need for a desk phone, which means it can allow you to make and receive audio or video calls, and this is supported with a voicemail transcription for your convenience. So moving on is talking about the meeting. Getting started with your meeting. I want to believe you're seeing my slide. Joseph, please let me know. I'm on meeting started with your teams.
Getting started with your meeting.
All right, very well, thank you. Now, getting started with your meeting, one of the things I always like to put in place is this. Yes, there's a lot of cool features coming into Microsoft Teams, and then specifically because of my topic, I'm actually going to be dwelling on what are those cool features that you can actually make use of while you're having a Teams meeting in order for you to have a more collaborative and productive meeting. We all know the pandemic has shaped the way we work, and because of the pandemic, even while people are gradually returned to work, the hybrid model is still in place. So a lot of people still leverage more even during the physical meeting, and then the physical presence in the office, and even while they're working remotely, they still leverage on Microsoft Teams meeting. And statistics actually show that Microsoft Teams meeting, there is an accelerated usage of it since the pandemic struck. So moving on, I'm going to be first talking about the presenter mode. And I want to believe you guys can see the presenter mode. If you see, you might not need to talk, just raise your hand and then let me know you are, I'll just raise up your hand to let me know that yes, or you give me a thumbs up for me to know that you can see my slide. I'm actually talking about the presenter mode. Very well, thank you. Now, with the presenter mode, you become a more engaging and integral part of your presentation. What we all know is that meeting participants tend to be more focused, and then they have a better experience when they see presenter along with the presentation. An interactive presenter will also help you to guide, we also guide the audience along with the visual cues while reducing information overload. Now you have the option now in the presenter mode to customize how your content shows. Now you have, without you having to use the share content tray, you can actually go into the presenter mode, and then by using the presenter mode, you have the options like the standout, the side by side, or the reporters in the presenter mode. So what I'm going to do right now is just to quickly show us what the presenter mode is like, just watching these video clips from Michael. And then so just let me know once again if you can see my video clips on presenter mode with just a thumbs up. All right, great. So I'm just going to play that video clips, and then hopefully you can hear the audio. All right, great. We can see how the presenter mode works. Now I'm going to be talking about present in Teams and PowerPoint Live and the presenter view. If you're familiar with the PowerPoint Live, that is what I'm using right now. And then I hope that you're familiar with. Can you see the slide of the presenting Teams showing now? Put a thumbs up, please. All right, great. Now, with presenting Teams, you can share your PowerPoint deck directly into Microsoft Teams by clicking on the present Teams feature. This feature is available actually in the latest version of Office 365 Pro Plus PowerPoint desktop app. So if you don't have this, all you need to do is for you to make sure you're running the latest version of Microsoft Teams. You're also running the latest version of your Office 365 Pro Plus. All you need to do is to join a meeting, and in joining the meeting, you should make sure that a meeting has been started before you can click on the present in Teams. Once that meeting starts, or probably maybe when you join that meeting, what happens right now is that you go into what is referred to as the PowerPoint Live, and that is the similar way I started this presentation actually. So in the PowerPoint Live, what you need to do is that be mindful of making sure that you're running, like I said, the latest version of Teams. And with the PowerPoint Live, it's no longer necessary for you to share your screen to show a presentation, just like I am doing. And in addition, your attendees can be able to interact with some of those content, and then you can make your presentation more engaging. Now you have access to the presenter view, because in the presenter view, just like you're seeing on the screen, you can actually see a lot of those of your PowerPoint deck. And then I can make use in the presenter view, I can make use of my notes, and then I can see the next slide that I'm going to be talking about, but my audience will not see it. So together, the presenting Teams, PowerPoint Live, and presenter view gives you a new way to use PowerPoint and Microsoft Teams in Teams. All right, so moving on, let's talk about the next feature I want to talk about. The next feature I want to talk about is how you manage your meeting options in Teams. Now, Meeting Organizer can view and update meeting options even while the meeting is going on. And this actually makes it easier and faster to manage your meeting options during a meeting. So gone are those days when you have to manage some options, you have to disconnect from those meetings, and then you have to do it ahead of time before you can get the meeting options sorted out. But now you have that immediately going on. Yep. I see Joel's hand raised. Is there anything you want to tell me? Okay, so I'm going to do something. One of the cool features that we have here, which I'm going to talk about later on, is actually where we can do what I have the option for me to be able to see who wants to talk and then be able to unmute that person. So I have Joel raise his hand. So Joel, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to unmute you and allow you to use your mic. Is there anything you want to tell me? Okay, all right. So I'm just going to disable your mic. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Okay. All right, go ahead, Joel.
Test, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Joel.
I was just going to add a question to the chat. I didn't mean to interrupt, but I didn't see a chat option.
Oh, okay. All right. That would be by the organizer. I don't have access to do that. I think the organizer of the meeting disabled the chat as well.
Yeah, that has to do with the external and the guest and
okay.
That, so.
All right. So, but don't worry, Joel. Just do me a favor. Pen down your questions. I'm going to have a few minutes to answer any questions. Just what I did to you right now, we'll meet you for you to be able to speak and ask your question.
Thank you.
That's fine. Yeah. Thank you. All right, great. Now, with Meeting Organizer can now view, like I said, and then update meeting options while the meeting is going on. So one of the cool features I want us to talk about, first of all, is how do we even get to do all of this? There are several ways for you to get to meeting options for rescheduled meeting. First of all, in Teams, what you'll be looking at is the first thing you'll be looking at in Teams is for you to select the meeting options while the meeting is going on. Now, when the meeting is going on, you can actually select your meeting options. And then when you select your meeting options, what happens next is that once you have that option to select your meeting options, once you click on it, it actually takes you to a web browser. And then when you, this is for the above one was for a scheduled meeting. The next one I just showed right now is for when the meeting is going on. When you click on the three dots, the three ellipses, you can actually see a meeting option, or the meeting info for you to be able to go into the meeting option. I'm not the organizer of this meeting, so I do not have that present, but as the organizer, you'll be able to see that. Then lastly, what you see is this is what your meeting options is going to be. So you have a lot of options here that you can select from, which I will be touching one after the other. Some of those options, what you can get from me. Now, let's look at first what the meeting meeting chat moderation setting, which is actually what Joel is talking about right now. Now, with the meeting moderation setting, organizers can actually turn off the chat functionality during a meeting, which is actually turned on by default. Most times, this is applicable to an educational setting, I'll say that. And most times, you can actually use it if you want your meeting to be more focused. You want to have a focused audience in your meeting. Probably you feel that when people are chatting, maybe because of the audience type you have, just like I gave an example for school system, you might decide to turn this off so that distractions can be minimized as much as possible. But that is what you have. So this is where for you to turn. So if you ask me where you want to do it, just go to the meeting options. It's turned up by default, but most times right now, for some reasons, we turn it off just to have a very focused meeting. Now, another option you can do is to the new bypass lobby option. You know, a lot of people, when you join meeting, what happens is that anybody can just join your meeting. We have that option where anybody can just join your meeting. And then now the new bypass lobby options allows organizer to identify who can join or can bypass the lobby. Now, the default used to be everyone. Now you have the option for you to be able to just select people in my organization alone. Because one of the things we noticed, or Microsoft noticed, is that when you use everyone, or you use people in my organization before now, and the guest option, even the guests that are part of your tenant or in your tenant can actually bypass the lobby. But now you have the option for you to be able to select just people in my organization alone. So that's one of the cool features, and that was released sometime March last year. Some people don't know how to use this, but you can have more control over your meeting coming into this. So the next the next feature I want to talk about is who can bypass the lobby. But in this case, you can only invite people. What these features allows you to do is for you to be able to invite the people that you invite alone are the ones that can bypass the lobby. Well, you have to be careful here. If you do not want your meeting invite to be forwarded, then you need to do what? To turn off turn off the forwarding option. Now, if you do not turn off the forwarding option of your meeting invite, if I invited someone else and the person forwards that meeting invite to someone without, even if I choose this option of saying people are invite only, they will be able to join the meeting. So this is one of the cool features that you want to keep your meeting as focused as possible. Probably maybe it's a strategic kind of meeting where you want to talk about things that are confidential. So you wouldn't want your meeting invite to be forwarded. Now, another great feature I want to talk about is disabling the microphone. Now, you will see, if you notice with the attendees, you find out that both your mic and your camera is turned off. Yes, this is a new feature, which means I can actually turn off these because I want to be able to have a more inclusive and focused meeting. I don't want distraction. You can be distracted maybe when you're talking and someone just walk in and then without turning on their mic, their audio, and then you can hear those noise at the background. For a minute, it can actually distract you. But if you feel you're going to be having a session, especially probably in an educational sector or in educational settings, this is actually very cool. And then how do you go about that? So the same thing I talk about. The first thing is that you want to turn off the meeting. You want to go to the participant pane, and when you get to the participant pane, you have the option for you to turn it off. Now, as at the time I did this slide, that was last year, I didn't have the option for the camera, but it's the same option right now, because if you turn to by that participant, those three dots, you can actually see the option for you to allow mic for attendees, allow camera for attendees. If you go into the meeting we're doing right now, that is available, for that. So again, the other thing is that once that is turned, that everything becomes great, just like you see what has happened. And for anyone that requests to speak, once there is a raise hand feature is a label and people can raise up their hands, the next thing is that I can go to that particular person, unmute that person, or allow him to enable his mic and microphone, and then he can speak. And then once that person is done, I can disable it back just the same way that it shows. So you can have a more focused meeting with that in place. The next thing I want to talk about is the lock a meeting option from Microsoft Teams. Now, the cool thing about this, which I like so much, is that I can actually lock a meeting when I do not want specific people to join it. Probably, maybe I feel that, okay, sometimes I feel this is also useful. Probably maybe you want to enforce discipline amongst your team members around maybe coming into meetings late. So you might just want to lock off a meeting, or that's one. Another issue is that you might decide to say you do not want some specific people just to join. Probably maybe you have the right audience in that meeting. You might just lock up the meeting. So you go to the same participant pane and then you do what? Lock the meeting. And once you lock the meeting, this is what the organizer view will be like. This is what the organizer view will be like. The organizer view will be this. It will show that they can still get to participate in chats, in recording after the meeting, or even during the meeting and any other activities during the meeting, but they will not be able to join. For you as an attendee, this is what your view will be like. Your view will be no one else can join the meeting. So this is a very cool feature that has come into Microsoft Teams, and you can use that during your meeting setting. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the auto recording. Have you ever started a meeting and probably maybe you forgot to start your recording, and probably way into the conversation, you find that a lot of important things have been spoken, and then you forgot to start your recording. Now, going into the meeting options, once again, you can actually set your recording for that meeting even before it starts. So you can turn on your meeting recording to start automatically. Now, if you set up this is one caveat you need to be aware of. If you set up this, the very first participant to join the meeting, apart from the organizer, actually, we start the recording will start immediately with that first participant. But then the recording still remains in the organizer's SharePoint or OneDrive for him to be able to. Now, though even that meeting participant can have that recording, but they will not have an edit access to it. So that's one of the cool things you have to bear in mind when you turn on the record automatically. It's actually a very cool feature. Now, there is live captions with speaker attribution, really. What happens is that live captions give you a real-time view of what is being said using the AI-powered speech recognition. Now, with the speaker attribution, you can actually see who is saying what. And for you to see how that works, I'm just going to play this video real fast for you to be able to see how that works. So with live with live caption, you can actually see, oh shit, I think this video is not playing. You can actually see in real time what is being said and who is saying it really. So that's what happened. You can see that, and this is all powered with the AI powered speech. I mean, if I turned on live caption now, let's see if any of my videos is not working. I see, yes, you can actually see that. So I'm turning on live caption even while I'm talking now. You can see that it's showing that, I mean, you can see my name against it and you can see what I'm saying. If any other person, probably maybe Joseph, says something now, it's going to show that Joseph also says something. So that is how live caption works. I mean, in meetings. So this is very cool feature. Next, let's move on. So I'm going to turn off the live caption so that you don't get distracted while you're focusing, or it's actually not to distract you anyway. So the cool feature again is the AI-based noise suppression. So this feature automatically removes unwelcome background noise during your meeting. So how this works is that it analyzes an individual audio feeds and make use of specially trained deep neural networks to filter out the noise and retain only the speech signal. So this is a very cool feature, and it comes with, you can actually find this if you go through your meeting, and then even as you're in this meeting, if you go through those 3 dots on the upper right hand side and you click on device setting, and on device setting, if you move to device setting and then again you do what, if you look through the noise suppression, you will see the noise suppression on device setting. So you have the options between auto, which is the default, high, low, and then off. What the I says is that how much of the noise do I want to suppress? If I do not want to suppress so much noise, if I don't want to suppress any noise at all, I set it up to the off option. Then the low option says how low is the noise I want to allow. Probably maybe you want your audience to be able to listen to music at the background. You can actually select the low option. So that's one of it. So let's see how this works. So I'm just going to click on this, and then let's see how this works. Now, I don't, for one particular reason, I don't know why my videos are not playing. I'm sure probably maybe, like I said, the audio goes out. The demo goes out my case. Let's look at the CAT providers. Support for human generation live captions for CAT providers. Now, what this does really is that Microsoft Teams is getting support for human-generated live captions in meetings, which are now they are now the alternative to the to the existing free AI-based live captions. So what happens is that you can actually use supported devices or to make your meeting more engaging using this CAT functions or with support with CAT provider. So you can actually get most of your captions to make sure your live captions are as accurate as possible. So you can see what I'm doing even when I turn off live caption, because I do not have the CAT captions option turned off, and I do not also have the devices that can help me to make sure that what I'm saying is accurate enough. There might be some transcription that may be affected only probably because of my own local dialect or my tongue and all of that. So that might affect what you're hearing me say or the transcription that is taking place. So again, let's look at the real-time transcription. Hopefully, let's see if this one plays. Okay, fine. I think we have, this is going on. So you can set up transcription.
Also added live transcriptions.
All right.
Which are recorded during the meeting. So now I can read up on anything that has been said in the meeting, especially if I've missed something. Now Teams notifies all meeting participants just like live meetings.
Great. So that's with live transcription. I guess unfortunately, because of the issue they have, then you have the breakout room. Now, I know every one of us know the breakout room. We all have the breakout room. The breakout room setting is a very fantastic one. But what happens now is that with the update, Organizer can now set a timer for each breakout room. So you can have a breakout room and you can set a timer for it. And after that timer has expired, room automatically what? We close, and participant can come back to the main settings. Again, you have the new function of room assignment retention. With this, it provides the ability for you to have what is referred to as a persistent room configuration and assignment over multiple sessions. And then you have the reassignment capability, which means that you can move people around from one breakout room to the other. So that is one of the features. I mean, all of us know how breakout room. I want to believe some of us know how breakout room works, but if you do not know, this is what breakout rooms is all about. Now, again, so moving on, let's look at the dynamic view. The dynamic view actually optimizes share contents and video participants in Teams meeting. So this allows you to personalize the view to suit your preference, really. So you have the ability for how you will share your content and how participants can show. Now for me, I can decide to say with my dynamic view, I can decide to say how I want the gallery to be. I can decide to say gallery should be on top, which means for me, even as this meeting is going on, I've moved everybody to the top bar, and then I can see that. So I can see, I can be more focused right now on my content. Now, if you want to practice this as the meeting is going on, what you can do is that go to those three dots again. You will see the option for you to be able to use all of those dynamic view functionality like together mode or gallery at the top and all of that. So I can set out how my views are. I can actually also spotlight or pin people into the pin while they are talking, and then I can actually see the layout of everything, even the videos, meeting, and all of that. So it gives me a greater control over how I share my content and other participants in the meeting. Now, that's what the dynamics view is all about. So I'm just going to play this video for you to see the new updates that has come into the dynamic view. So now there are a few improvements and updates to dynamic view. Now, if you look in the upper left, you can see the little drop down. So you can choose together mode, gallery or full screen. You have all of that option. Again, some new improvement to dynamic view. You can share some content here in the presenter mode while presentation in PowerPoint Live is going on. Another improvement is ability for you to spotlight multiple people. Now I can decide to spotlight up to 7 people in a meeting. And when you spotlight multiple people, they are in a smaller space. So this is a really great scenario for, especially when you're using what is referred to as sign language interpreter. If you have a sign language interpreter, that can be more visible at the top, and then you can reduce those other people that you have pinned to a smaller interface. So you have the flexibility on also how you do your presentation. You can have your content on the left and then have those multiple people actually pin on the right hand side. With the dynamic view, you can switch your view around your content, around the people, and so to say, even your video, your camera that you are choosing. And you can actually stop the spotlighting when you're done for you to be able to have more for you to be able to return to the meeting the way you want. So that's what the dynamic view updates offers you. So I will encourage you to check this up on YouTube. You actually have that with the 25 tips that Michael Toffin has also put on YouTube. So that's one of the reasons I'm actually saying a big shout out for him, because of allowing me to make you some of these videos. Now, content from camera is another cool feature. There's a lot of feature in Microsoft Teams that has come, and I don't know how familiar you are with it. Now, Microsoft Teams allow you to share content from a variety of digital sources while in a meeting. Guess what? With the content from camera feature, you'll be able to easily share physical whiteboards and documents using your built-in camera or an external USB camera. So sharing content from camera will allow you to present content from physical artifacts in a more eligible way, and then as the capture image gets detected and transformed, you can have better readability experience with it. So I'm just going to allow us to quickly see how that plays out from this. All right, so I won't be able to play the whole of the video because of time, or you can check that more up on you can check down more YouTube with all of the things that you have from Michael. So another cool thing is the Teams chat bubbles. I want to believe a lot of us are familiar with it. And if you are familiar with it, to show me that I have very, very interesting and engaging audience, can you make use of the chat? Oh, sorry, I've forgotten that chat has been disabled. Okay, now what the chat bubbles allows you to do is that it does not allow you to mix any messages posted during a meeting by participant, especially if you don't have the chat panel open. Like someone is presenting from the screen, so you can have that chat bubbles showing. So let's see how that works. Now with the chat bubbles features, you can stay focused on the content being shared in full screen mode, but also stay tuned into the chat conversation that will appear on top of the center of your screen, just like what is showing up here. And in case you want to see the full chat history, you can simply do what? Open the chat window on the right-hand side for you to be able to see. So these are very useful if you have smaller screen or a screen area that is full, just like what I have right now. This is a very cool feature you can make use of. Again, I'm looking at the time. I know I have just a few minutes to round up. You have live reactions. I believe every one of us know how to use this. If you want to show me how you know how to use live reactions, please give me some reactions so far with this session. I want to see what your reactions is like. So with live reactions, you can actually react during a meeting using emojis that will appear to all the participants. Very cool. Thank you guys for the love. Thank you for the claps. I'm super excited. That's great. So I'm sure that I have very engaging audience here. Right. So let's look at the new features that are coming to Microsoft Teams webinar and the enhancements really. So virtual events are here to stay. We cannot dispute that. And then attendee engagement and retention is actually depending on how we're able to deliver an interactive and a personalized experience during our meeting. So with the new webinar broadcasting capability in Microsoft Teams, it makes it easy for you to be able to do what? To set up and deliver professional engaging experience to internal and external. So let's talk a bit about some of those capabilities. I'm actually going to round up in 3 minutes time, so I can give 5 minutes for some questions. Apologies because of the hiccups we have while the meeting started. I guess that was why some of the things. So if you look at what your Teams webinar capability is right now, you can schedule and deliver a 1,000 person webinars with the same Teams app. All you need to go is you go into your calendar, select what? The Teams webinar, and then you can set up your meeting. And then one of the cool things is that while the meeting is going on, it supports the registration page, where you can create a registration page for your you can create a registration page for the people that are going to attend the webinar. They will have an email confirmation sent to the registrar. Then the host can manage the attendees' videos and audio just like the way we have. And then you can have interactive features like polls, chats, and interactions being included in your meeting. So that's one of the cool. Then I have the Q&A. Now I'm going to see if I can introduce the Q&A into this. Unfortunately, I'm not the organizer, so I guess that's the reason I can't do any of that. But with the Q&A features that is coming into Microsoft Teams right now, Teams webinar, and even into Microsoft Teams, there is a Q&A feature that just comes in. It allows you to be able to do what? Have a more structured question and answer experience. I actually was hoping that I would be able to do that. So all you need to do is this. If you are the meeting organizer, go into those 3 dots once again, and then you must be sure that you're running the latest version of Microsoft Teams. With that, you can just add the Q&A, click to say add an app. When you click to add an app, it will bring up the app catalog for you. Just type Q&A, and then with the Q&A, you can have the question and answer feature in your meeting going forward. And the cool thing is that as the organizer, you can actually preview the questions or the answers that your attendees are giving before you even publish it. So you have that kind of rich control. Coming also, we can have up to 10 organizer now coming into Microsoft Teams. So we can have 10 different co-organizer that we can assign, and those co-organizer will have the same capability and permissions as the organizer. I am not talking about presenters. Presenter has been multiple presenter has been in Microsoft Teams. What is coming up right now, we'll be looking at the feature of what the co-organizer, which is come. This feature was actually supposed to be generally available by end of last year. So I want to believe that it's rolling out gradually. If you don't have it yet, please check that you're using the latest version of Teams. I think lastly is the polls, and we still boils down to the fact that I may not be able to use, okay, yes, I can use this. So while your meeting is going on, you can actually look at the chat window and then go and look for polls rather. And, you can actually select polls and then have a more interactive suggestion in the meeting, so users can create polls for their Teams meeting. Then what comes right now with the form is that there is a form intelligence service that will suggest to you the kind of form you can actually use. Also, Microsoft Teams is leveraging on that form intelligence service to suggest polls to users automatically. So you can actually have rich suggestion. Make sure you make use of these. I think I am behind time. I will just stop here, and then let's me have any question so far. Is there any questions so far so that I can stop sharing? Joseph, I think I'm behind time, right?
It's a good time to start finishing up.
All right. Great. So, I think every one of us know the together mode, but the together mode right now with the update that is with it makes use of what AI segmentation technology in meetings to do what? To digitally place participants in a shared background. So you can see that you can actually also decide what kind of scene or background you want to select. This was generally available last year at the time in January. So you can actually, what happens is that it makes you feel closer to your colleagues. If you're not using this, or if you do not have this, please check up and be sure that probably you're using the latest version of Teams. Now, large gallery view also, it is, with large gallery view right now, it means that you can select large gallery, and this is what it's going to be like when you have the 16 view. 16 attendees view is going to be like this, but now it has been extended to 49. This is what your 49 view is going to look like, and then you can see more faces. Now I think I want to round up with this last one, and then let me get your feedback on any question so far. So I apologize for those little hiccups that happened. That's actually affected the timing for me. I wish I can go through all of the slide with you, because I'm sure there are a lot of features that you would want to see here. I'm very sure about that. All right. So let me look into the people's pane right now and see if there is anyone that want to ask a question. Yes, I have. Just 1 minute. I'm going to be able to unmute and then get that sorted. Yeah. Another cool feature, if you do not know, is the raise hand features now has the order to it, which means I can see who raised up his hand first, and then I can be able to relate or ask that person first. I saw some few hands raised up. Yes, I still have Joe. So Joe, just hold on. I'm gonna allow you. Yes, go ahead, Joe.
You talked about being able to enlarge your your video feed while in presenter mode. Can you do that while you're having one-on-one meetings? I found that it puts your video feed in a small tile on the bottom right, and it's frustrating
Yes.
that you can't make it larger.
Yes, on a one-on-one, you don't have that. Hello.
Yeah, why is that?
So I guess that's the experience I've also had, the same experience. So I wouldn't know why, but I want to guess that I think Microsoft is still working on some of those updates, and when that is available, then you can have that more than you can have that improve on. Joy, I hope I answered your question. So I think one of the things also we're doing is to make sure as much as possible is for us to have, so I've already eaten into the time for no, so I will need to leave right now. If you have any question, please reach out to me on LinkedIn. My LinkedIn is Olajumoke Toriola, or my Twitter, and then we can chat from here. So thank you, everyone. You guys have been amazing audience. Thank you for staying, and thank you for coping and enduring with me, even when the demo girls were acting up. Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.
Great job.